I'm Antonio Graceffo, and today we are at LINC, Language Institute of Natural Khmer. And this is a very exciting Khmer language school in Phnom Penh, which is implementing the ALG method, teaching method, which people who know me know that I am a huge proponent of ALG and listening in general. So this is a listening-based approach for teaching the Khmer language. And I have with me Mr. David Jacobs, and he's one of the directors here at the Institute. And David, why don't you, and I know people have read my articles, whatever they've heard about ALG, why don't you explain in your own words what is ALG and what are you doing here?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So the ALG method is a method for teaching languages to foreigners, and it's a method based on listening. It's based on the way a child learns his or her mother tongue. So rather than trying to speak and form words straight away, students undergo immersion. So they listen to the teachers speak. So students sit in class and the language is absorbed. So they don't take part in the class. They take part, but they speak only in English. They're not allowed to speak Khmer. So they understand right from the first class, because of the way teachers have been trained, the way teachers teach. They use different props and objects to help students understand what's going on.
How do you go?
But students are asked to refrain from speaking for as long as possible, and at a certain point, when they achieve a certain level of understanding, of listening, words just come out naturally with the correct pronunciation, much like a child first learns to speak.
Right, okay. Now, one of the benefits of the ALG method, of course, is that we don't start speaking too early. Because when we speak too early, we are using an improper model, and then we're using a faulty pronunciation, and then we're practicing this faulty pronunciation. So one of the benefits of the ALG method is that we listen for a very long time until we've heard the proper pronunciation. Dr. J.Marvin Brown, who invented the ALG method, said that it worked best. The students were complete beginners. They had no idea, no preconceived notions, so they could just absorb the language. Now, you were saying that there's, let's say your problem, let's say, what is the model, or what is your average student who walks in here?
The average student who walks in here is someone who's tried to learn Khmer before, who's been in Cambodia for, doesn't matter how long, a year, 2 years, 6 months, and who's tried, but failed to learn Khmer because it's so difficult. They've tried with the traditional methods, with a one-to-one tutor or in different schools. And they found that in these schools they always focus on words and grammar and sentences, and it's very difficult for them to pronounce correctly. I think they're pronouncing it, but then the tutors ask them to say things again, and they don't understand what the difference is.
And then they go out on the street and they say it, and then they get frustrated. Oh, I said it right. Why didn't you understand it?
They refuse to understand what I'm saying. They pretend they don't understand, but really they try, but it's very difficult because they try to speak much too fast rather than focus on listening first and hearing how things are pronounced correctly.
Now for the folks at home, if you've never studied Khmer, Khmer is not tonal. It's the only, well, not the only, but one of the only languages here in Southeast Asia, in this region, that's not tonal. So Vietnamese is tonal, Thai is tonal. Khmer is not tonal, but there are some linguistic theorists who believe it may have been tonal at one time, but there are a lot of sounds that will sound very similar to our ears and will make a big difference in the meaning of the word. So for example, the I phoneme, the vowel I, there are probably 4 or 5 Khmer vowel sounds that the closest we have in English is I. And obviously you have to differentiate, otherwise people won't know what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, and there are double consonants and sounds that we don't have in English or in any other Western language, which is very difficult to pronounce when you first hear them. You have to hear them enough times to be able to say them. Hear the
subtle differences
that Khmers don't even think about.
Khmer words are multisyllabic in general, they have multiple syllables, but in common speech, often one of the syllables is completely dropped out.
Exactly.
And you don't learn that in school.
No.
So as soon as you go in the street, you're like, I don't understand what they're saying. But now I'm sitting in the class, and actually this morning I sat in on one of the Khmer classes. Now I'm not exactly a beginner, but it was interesting sitting in on the class. And even in the 20 minutes I was in there, I picked up a few things. Oh, I see, they're dropping one of the syllables. You know, I understand what she's saying. She's dropping one of the syllables. Yeah. For the folks at home, and I want to hear it from, so they're not just hearing it from me, I want them to hear it from somebody else. About how many hours does it take?
To achieve what?
My definition of fluency, my test of fluency is, 2 Khmer people are having a conversation, you walk in the middle, you listen for a few seconds, and then you can jump in appropriately without derailing the conversation.
Depending on someone's previous exposure to Khmer, someone's exposure outside of classes, in total, I'd say about 1,000 hours, something like that. But that doesn't mean studying for 1,000 hours here, it means in total exposure to Khmer before being able to achieve that level, which for me is fluent, but you can go higher.
Right, you can go higher than that, right? You can jump into the conversation and participate, but you could do it with better vocabulary and more educated vocabulary. So it takes a lot of hours. We were looking at that's 800, and that's to begin. That's to reach this point where you begin to hear and to pronounce correctly, to hear and understand and to pronounce correctly, and then maybe another 1,000, 1,500 hours on top of that.
Yeah, and that's not just with this method. It's learning in any way. Learning the language always takes a long time. We're not saying that this method you study for 100 hours, 800 hours, 1,000 hours, whatever you want to call it. It always takes time to learn a language, however you do it.
ALG. Now, you and I have a commonality. We both studied at AUA, which is the school that, let's say, the leading school that promotes ALG.
Yep.
So what was your experience there?
Well, I just happened to be in Thailand because my parents were over there. I was young and free and had nothing to do. And I was told about this method, this special school where you could learn Thai and speak it as a Thai and learn all about the culture and everything. I was intrigued. I was very excited. First, I had my reservations. I thought, well, is that possible? Why is it so different from any other ways of teaching? So I went over there and I just enjoyed it straight away. I understood right from the first class. I loved the teachers there. I loved the whole atmosphere of the school. And so that's why I went back and stayed for altogether maybe 6 months.
I've watched your teachers now. I watched one class. I saw your videos. It looks very similar to what they're doing in Thailand.
Exactly. Well, Sonia, who runs the school with me, she learned Thai at AUA as well. She speaks fluently. She was there for a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. And she recently moved to Phnom Penh because her husband works here. And she decided that she wanted to learn Khmer, but the only way that she could even consider learning the language was through ALG, through the same method as the school in Bangkok.
Thái Bình Công Thiện Năm 2017 Năm 2017